I have nothing in particular planned on what I want to talk about in this quick video. I've just got the camera set up and I felt like just spitting some facts really and kind of giving a walkthrough on my journey. And it was one thing that I always share with every single friend that I meet, any new person that I am introduced to who has a similar mindset to myself. I always suggest getting started in sales. And the reason I say to get started in sales, specifically to people who are quite entrepreneurial, is because sales builds the foundations for entrepreneurial success. Like, it just is what it is. And I'm very grateful that about 7 years ago I was introduced to the world of sales, and it happened completely out of character for me. I was at university. I'd done an extra year at uni, so most of my friends graduated a year earlier. And one of my good friends to this day introduced me to sales, right? He said, Jordan, there's high earning potential here. Start as a sales development rep. So I did, obviously. Like, I don't really know what I wanted to do for work. And he was doing it. He was earning about 40k a year at that time. And, you know, as a young man who's just left university, like, you want to do that sort of stuff, right? You want to be earning a lot of money. And it was one of those roles that you didn't need a specific degree for, which is quite strange given the importance of sales, but we'll get into that in just a moment. You don't need a specific degree for it. I studied English. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, and sales seemed like a good option. And within my first couple of months, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And the reason I thought that is because the psychology behind sales is beneficial for more than just selling products, right? You're not there to just extract cash. You're responsible for building quality relationships with people and getting people to trust you. But it's an active communication style. Like, I noticed that the more I learned sales, I would go outside of my comfort zone a lot more. I would speak to more people just because not only did I have the confidence to do it, but I knew how to have engaging conversations, ask the right questions, get people to open up. And as a result, people started to like me more. People started to feel comfortable talking to me. And I've had many conversations with people who I've just met, and they've opened up to me about things that they wouldn't typically speak to anyone else, really. Like, I'd be at house parties and people would be opening up to me about traumas that they had when they were younger to someone that they don't know, just because I made them feel comfortable enough to speak. And that's because of sales. It gave me the confidence and the communication style to be able to do that. So I've always said to people, if you want to get into something, if you want to learn something, if you're not sure what you want to do, then learn sales, because that's going to set you up for future success. And for me, I was entrepreneurial way before I went to university. I was saying to myself when I was in school, secondary school, that I was always going to start a business one day. And I just never knew what route I needed to take to get there. And it's something that I hear. I listen to a lot of David Guillaume. For everyone listening, I recommend you do the same. And he speaks about the creator as us. We are the creator. We house the creator within our vessel. And everything that we desire, whether it's financial success, whether it's a family, whether, whatever that may be, whatever you desire is there for you. It's already happened. It's been written. And all you need to do is embrace the opportunities that are there specifically to guide you to your desires. And I feel like meeting my friend at university and him getting into sales and then me falling into sales was me embracing those opportunities to achieve what I desire. And as a young man, at school, not knowing what sales was, or not knowing how I wanted to create money, abundance, I was just there, someone who knew I wanted to build a business one day. And things have happened in life that have taken me there unexpectedly. So for anyone watching this, I feel like it's very important to be open, but also for those of you who are entrepreneurial, take this as your sign to get involved in sales, because sales does build the foundation for entrepreneurial success. And I mentioned before that sales isn't taught in school. It's not taught at universities. There's no degree on how to sell. There's a business degree, but for all of you who studied business, how often did you go through sales? Probably not much. And every single CEO I've had, boss that I've had that's run a company, everyone I know who's run a company have started in sales. It's crazy. And if they haven't started in sales, they've had to develop sales skills. So it's just easier to start in sales because you have the authority, the confidence, the power to communicate, to negotiate, to actually sell your service or your product. Like, you need to know how to sell in order to do that. Build partnerships, build solid business relationships. You need to know how to sell. So the fact that sales isn't taught in business, I believe, is a way for organization or government, higher power, whatever you want to call it, the authority in whatever country you're in. It's a way for them to limit your potential because governments, school systems, they want you to work a job. So they're not going to give you the skills necessary to go out on your own. They want you to conform to the system. And we want to reform. We want to neglect the system, right? We want to go out on our own. And anybody with an entrepreneurial mindset that I've met, they have a strong dislike for authority for that exact reason, because authority is meant to keep you grounded. And entrepreneurs are not grounded. We're free thinkers. We're creatives. We want to do things differently. We want to create something that isn't given to us on a plate, right? So for those entrepreneurs or those future entrepreneurs, the ones who know that they are passionate about going out on their own, which thankfully in this day and age is a lot of you, specifically a lot of young men and young women, you want to do something. You want to build a business. You are passionate about going on your own. You hate authority. You probably don't like your teachers, or you're not a fan of the police if you're anything like me. You want to do something that removes yourself from what other people are telling you to do. And if you are one of those people, I would strongly recommend sales as the vehicle for you to get there. And I want to walk through my journey. I was in sales and I was working at a company. I was working at 2 different SaaS companies during my time in the corporate space. And I loved the learning behind it. In my first company specifically, I always looked up to my CEO. Again, someone who started in sales. I looked up to him and for his charisma, very charismatic. He had a podcast, he wrote books, he was more than just a businessman, right? He was a CEO, he was a salesperson. So I looked up to him a lot, and I mentioned to him, like, well, look, one day I want to start my own business. He asked me, what do you want to do here? Eventually, I want to start my own business, but I love the fact that I'm here to learn. And he said, look, if you ever want any more advice on how to start a business, obviously let me know, because it is so much more than sales. But I started in sales, and sales builds the foundation for you to actually have success in business. And I loved that, and it gave me an extra push. But what I didn't like about working in the corporate space is that you wasn't really in control of your destiny. And if you stay there, you're definitely not in control of your destiny. It's a great place to start, and it's a great place to learn. And for anyone who maybe hasn't had that experience but wants to start a business, I would highly recommend getting that experience first, whether it's through an online business, working as a sales rep there, maybe you want to be an appointment setter or a closer, or you want to go into the corporate space as a SDR or an account executive. Whatever route you take, you're going to learn a lot, but take one of those routes and learn, because that's what's going to help you understand business, through watching how other people do it and learning from them. So that was one thing that I really respected, but I couldn't really progress. I felt like I capped my earning potential. I felt like there was nothing really more for me in the business world. And as a result, it limited my potential massively, and it made me feel small. It made me feel like I had these big dreams, these huge ambitions, and I could just never fulfill them because I wasn't in a vehicle that allowed me to grow. And that businesses do that to a lot of people. Like corporations do that to a lot of people. They take entrepreneurs and they make them feel small because they don't want to conform to the way that company is doing it. But if they don't, they get put on performance improvement plans, they get fired, they get let go. And it's a whole thing that just damages someone's mentality, right? And I was in that position, right? I was let go by one of my companies. But again, it goes back to what your desires are, and actually embracing the opportunities that lead you towards what you desire. And I think getting let go from my company was one of those things. I think it was fate, and it actually propelled me towards the world of high ticket sales. And in high ticket sales, I learned a different type of business. It was more focused on, service and creating something that the everyday person can use and benefit from, and it can improve their life. Whereas if you're in a corporate space, you're somewhat a number, and specifically in SaaS, because you're essentially providing a product to a business at a larger scale, and each of their employees are going to be leveraging that for a specific use case. It doesn't really change anyone's life, right? And high ticket sales can change people's lives, and I've seen it from people who have invested in a coach and have massively improved their business, or in my case, they went on to buy businesses. And even in the first business I started, helping people to actually grow their business was satisfying, and it gives you a new lease, but it also gives you different ideas on how you can leverage your abilities, your skills as a salesperson to go off and build a business. And this is why I say sales is at the heart of it, because if you know how to sell, then all you need to do is create a service, a great service, and a service or product targeted towards a specific person. Then you already know how to sell it. That's all it is. And most businesses fail due to a lack of sales, right? They either don't have the best salespeople, or they don't know how to sell themselves. So by mastering sales, it really puts the foot in the door, but it also gives you a head start against all of your competitors when you do finally take that step and start a business. So again, I've kind of gone on a tangent here. I'm trying to find a point for this video, but I'm kind of just spewing my words everywhere. But essentially, I guess what you can take away from this is, if you have that entrepreneurial mindset and you want something different, you want something bigger, you want to create something, and you're not in sales yet, I recommend learning sales as a first thing. And there's different avenues to it, right? Like if you have no clue what sales is, I recommend either becoming an SDR in a corporate space or becoming an appointment setter. We offer appointment setter training, so at very low ticket, just because we don't believe in charging a lot to learn a skill like that, because it is so beneficial. But I would get involved in appointment setting because you're going to understand the landscape of a business. You're going to understand how valuable your responsibilities are, and you're going to understand what pipeline stage looks like and how businesses are actually making money. So getting at the ground as an appointment setter. If you've already done that, then become a closer. You want to learn sales holistically, meaning you don't want to just learn how to close deals. You don't want to just learn how to book appointments. You want to know how to do the entire sales cycle. That's a valuable skill to have before you go into business. But learn sales, whether you're an appointment setter, go into a company, learn sales there. SDR roles are paying around 30 to 40 grand, depending on the company that you're at. So obviously after tax, you're taking home a bit less. If you're a good appointment setter, you can earn a lot more, because there is just a shit ton of money to make online. And I've noticed that from being in both of those spaces. But I just recommend learning the skills, right, and becoming a valuable asset to a business. Because once you're a valuable asset and they don't want to let you go, then you essentially have the foundation to go to someone else in their business and say, well, I can help you to close more deals, I can help you to book more appointments. And the moment you have that skill, which is in high demand for every business, because like I said, most businesses fail due to a lack of sales. So if you can offer support in sales to book their appointments, to close their deals, and to essentially increase their revenue, then you're a valuable asset to not just one business but to many. And then all you have to do is think about how you can help as many people as possible, and then you're done really. And then you have a business and you're probably making well over 5 figures a month. And that can happen in the space of a few years, maybe even less, right? If you commit to it. And I'm talking from learning the skill to then implementing it and then to growing a business. It can happen in a couple of years. So again, if you're entrepreneurial and you want a new experience, you want to try something, you want to take yourself away from authority, then get into sales. Learn how to sell. And once you know how to sell, apply those same skills to grow a business. And I don't want to make this about, my company, Sales Growth Club, but we offer all of those solutions, from appointment setting to closer training to even building your own business. But do your research and find people to help you. I'm not saying it needs to be me, but one thing that I did which massively helped me was just invest in mentors and put myself in front of people who had done it before and who knew the space. Because you might find that you invest in someone, in my case, I invested in a mentor who was helpful in a sense where they had done it before and they had connections in the space that I was interested in getting involved with. But they didn't necessarily give me everything that I needed. And at the time, it was what I needed. But thinking back, I'm like, well, I could have done with a lot more there. So do your research about who you invest in. And make sure what they're providing is absolutely everything. But yeah, seek help and put yourself in a position to receive help. Because like I said, your desires are already written and the universe is going to throw out different opportunities, and the ones that you miss, the ones that you don't grab hold of, then you're essentially delaying that manifestation process. And when you do take action, you manifest things a lot quicker. And I'm grateful that I had I had a fuck it mindset. And the way I look at money now is money comes and goes. And the more you hold on to money, then the less it's going to work for you. If you keep your money in the bank, then it's going to stay in the bank. And, in 10 years' time, that money is going to be worth less than it is now. But if you put that money in pots and places where it's going to work for you, and typically that's investments, and then you can look at investments in a number of ways, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks and shares, forex, or simply in yourself. And investing in yourself is 100% the best place to start, because once you invest that money in yourself, you can double it very quickly. Then you can triple it, and then you can start thinking about stocks, crypto, forex, and things like that. So invest your money, do something with it, and develop a skill that's going to propel you forward. So I always had that mindset. I wanted to move my money somewhere, and looking back, I'm very thankful that I did, because I would not be in a position that I am right now, speaking with you guys. So yeah, again, I know I've rambled a little bit, but I hope this is motivating to at least someone. If I can change someone's perspective and just give them the push that they need to actually go off and achieve their goals, then I've done my role, right? I've done my job here. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm releasing the Growth by Jordan podcast next week. So right now it is the 16th of January at the time of this recording. I'll be releasing this video pretty much on all of my social platforms. So if anyone did want to check it out, then you probably found it on one of the social platforms. But I'll be releasing my podcast next week, Growth by Jordan. I've already got a rigorous plan in place. It's going to be focused on sales development and also business development. So if you're in a corporate 9-to-5 role and you're looking for your next opportunity, this is for you. If you're looking to get involved in sales, it's for you. If you're entrepreneurial and you want to do something more, you want to create something, you want to achieve those desires, then this podcast is for you. If you're already a business owner and you're struggling due to a lack of sales, then this is for you as well. The Growth by Jordan podcast is going to cover everything sales and business development. My goal is for it to be the #1 sales and business development podcast out there, and I don't intend on stopping until I reach that goal. But yeah, I think, again, for those of you in sales, want to get into sales, want to start a business, in business, want to grow your sales team, this podcast is designed to give you everything you need, all the information you need, all the guidance, all the support, absolutely everything you need to be massively successful in sales and in business. So check it out when I release it. Subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you consume your podcasts. I'll make sure it's engaging for all of you. I'll also be sharing some surveys on basically for the listeners to share what they would like to hear more of, because again, like, I want to do this podcast, but I want to interact with as many listeners as possible, and I want to know what you guys want to hear. So if you can take the time to fill out the podcast, I'd be much appreciated. I'd be very grateful for that. It's just going to mean that we can create something that's going to be valuable for everyone. But yeah, rambled for 21 minutes, so I'll end this recording now. But yeah, thank you for those who paid attention to my waffle, and again, I hope it's inspired at least one of you. Peace.